Hello and welcome to the Daylight Midnight Show. First things first, as ever, I'm going to set the 10-minute timer on my phone. So we now have 10 minutes to get the show done and dusted before the little alarm goes off on there. Second things second, as ever, we're going to activate the Gregometer. Now, if you haven't seen this before, this is a very technical, very scientific device. This was designed by physicists in the Philippines. And what this does is this will monitor my heart rate, my body temperature, my sperm count, analyse that in relation to what's going on in the atmosphere around me, and it will sum up in one word the kind of mood I'm in today and what kind of show you can have, and it will beam that to a wonderful display cabinet behind me. And today I can tell you the one word that the Gregometer thinks sums up me and the show is unprepared. Yes, I must confess, life has kind of overtaken me this week. And there's a certain element of winging it to this show this week. How you're going to tell the difference, I don't know, but unprepared is quite apt. Bit of feedback. Someone called Paul got in contact with me after last week's show and said, interesting start to the show last week. For a split second you looked comatose, and then it looked like someone had hit you with a cattle prod. I've looked back and I did see this myself. Now, the explanation is that I like to have a moment of calm before launching into the show. So I will set the camera on to record, and then I will just sit quietly and gather my thoughts, and then I'll launch into it. And what I normally do is edit that bit off the start. Now, a recurring theme of this show is going to be my lack of understanding of technology. And I haven't worked out, if you mess up the edit the first time, how you clip off those little nanoseconds. So I left it, so you get me doing this at the start of the show. Hopefully I'll do a better job this week. And I had a little bit of feedback of my own. I noticed when I was watching last week's show, it was distracting the hell out of me because there was something moving about on the screen. Now, at first I thought it was a mark on the lens and I should have cleaned the camera before I started, but then I realised it kept disappearing behind my head as I moved. So I thought maybe it was a fly or a wasp. And then I thought, bearing in mind the nature of what last week's show was about, with it being a conspiracy theory special, I thought maybe it was a bug of a different kind. Maybe it was a listening device or a miniature camera. Maybe they had got in my office and planted that on the wall. So I had a look, and it was a bit of blue tack from an old poster. So it's gone now, so the distraction is gone as well. And that's it for me with feedback, and that's going to be it for me with feedback from now on. I hate watching these shows back, and I just find things wrong with them. So I'm not going to watch these back anymore. So I'm going to be relying on you to tell me what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong, what you like, what you don't like, what you want more of or less of. There'll be an email address on the screen at the end of this broadcast, and you can get in contact with me through that. From feedback, we go to the brown folder. This I carry around with me all the time, and I scribble down in it little ideas about what we can talk about on the show. And this week it's actually going to be a future show special. I had a little bit of an afternoon of sitting in the garden and coming up with ideas for things I can film in the coming weeks. So just a few little teasers for you of stuff that's coming up on the Daylight Midnight Show over the coming weeks and months. Ideal custard pie toppings. I write pantomimes, and when we're allowed in theatres, there's quite often a debate about what is the ideal topping to have when you do a custard pie slap in the slapstick scene. If you use real custard, you get this lovely dripping effect. If you use shaving foam, it kind of clings to the face better, but it stings like heck if you get it in your eyes. So I'm going to do a definitive experiment. With help from my family, I'm going to get all sorts of different toppings, smack myself in the face with them, and we'll decide what will be the ideal panto custard pie topping. We're also going to launch the National Anti-Ironing League. I've mentioned this before. We're going to make it official and you can get involved. Rhyming couplets to end the show on is just a little bit of a poetic thing to tie a little bow on the end of the show. Might start that next week. And what I'm really excited about is outfit roulette. I have lots of different shirts and jackets and t-shirts. I hate choosing my own clothing, but this is a one-man operation. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to come up with some kind of device like a little roulette wheel, and it'll have all the different items of clothing on it. And at the end of each show, we'll just randomise what I'm going to wear the week after. So it could end up being anything. You might have me here in pyjamas or just a mankini. And the final thing on the list at the moment is the Bad Back Club. Some weeks you might notice I sit here quite straight. Other weeks I might keep moving. It's because I've got quite a bad back from an old injury. My spine is about as much use as a steel tampon. And I know other people suffer as well. So I'm going to launch an official club in which we can all get together and support each other. So that's the brown folder. Now the rest of the show this week, It's basically going to be a shopping channel. The situation is this. We've been having some work done on our house, and it's been the longest building project on earth, simply because this playful virus came along. So we had to press pause on everything, and we had the builder, the electrician, the plumber, all in sync, and obviously with them all having different time off, starting again at a furlough at different times, it's all been a bit of a mess trying to get it going. But we're nearly there now. But what it's done is it's giving us time to have a little pause, have a look through some of the stuff we've got, and decide which stuff we want to keep and which stuff we want to get rid of. So this week we're going to start getting rid of stuff. Well, I am. Basically, I've got to clear out some of my tat or get divorced. That's the ultimatum I've been given. So I thought, rather than just send it to a charity shop, I'm going to give you an opportunity to buy it. So for the rest of the show, this is going to be the QVG shopping channel. And I think any shopping channel needs a shopping channel theme tune. So when you turn on your TV, please buy everything you see. Fill your house with useless crap you've bought from QVG. So let's get straight into this then. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring items out. I'm going to describe them to you, say why you might want to buy them, and if you're interested you can email using the email address at the end of the show, and you can bid for whatever you want. So we're going to start with this. Yes, it's just a simple water bottle, but it has great historical significance. Back in my days as an explorer, you might not know this about me, but I have really travelled the world. I live in the Norfolk Broads and I've been to the Lake District, so I've been around, and this has kept me going wherever I've gone, and I like this for two reasons, well, three really. You'll notice the damage, don't let that put you off. I love people with scars and I like cars with dents because every blemish tells a story. So you're seeing a little bit of my history here where I've dropped it at different times. What I like about this is you've got this extra wide neck, so when you fill it with a cold drink you can drop ice cubes in the top and it will keep cold for longer. The other reason I like the wide neck is, if you're a gentleman of a certain age like me, you'll find that the old prostate means things don't work quite as well as they used to. And if you're stuck in traffic, you might get cut short. So this makes an ideal temporary urinal. I would just say, if you do buy this, don't get those two uses mixed up, by the way. Don't pee in it and then use it as a water bottle. Believe me, I've made that mistake as well. The next thing is, now this looks just like an empty can from a multi-pack from a certain cola company. This is a special drink that we've created here at the Daylight Midnight Show. It's called Greg Aid. It's like Lucozade, but it's got more vim and vitality in it. And it's got a lovely hint of cinnamon about it as well. It's basically my flop sweat put through a soda stream. But if you want to have the creativity that I thrill you with every week, maybe having the same drink as me is going to give you that effect. The next thing I'd like to get rid of is this. It looks like a normal hand towel. This is actually a special, unique miniaturization towel. And it's an excuse I've used before when people have seen me naked for the first time. I used to be wrapped in a miniaturization towel. But the good thing about this is, anything you wrap inside this can be miniaturized. And I'm going to do a demonstration for you. Something else I'm going to get rid of is an old Rubik's Cube. So what we'll do is we're going to wrap this in here, and then it will miraculously miniaturize. And to prove to you that the cube you see at the end is the cube that you're seeing now, I'm going to personalize it by putting my initial on the center of the yellow. So there we are. Now we wrap it very, very carefully in the miniaturization towel. For this to work, it has to be in complete darkness, so I'm going to put it in this drawer of my desk. And I'm going to tap on the top 3 times, and I will bring out exactly the same towel, and if we very carefully unwrap this, you will notice that by the wonders and magic of the miniaturization towel, the Rubik's Cube has now shrunk, and you can see it's exactly the same Rubik's Cube because it has exactly the same signature on it. So the towel is up for grabs. I'm not going to sell the Rubik's Cubes in case I want to do that trick again at a children's party, but the towel can be yours. Imagine if you're moving house, how much easier would life be if you could wrap your house in a miniaturization towel, shrink it down to the size of a handbag and carry it to its new location. It's like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but without the marketing budget. This little thing here, now this is a bit of a novelty screen tool for an iPad or an iPhone, but I think this is more important than this. There are lots of theories about William Shakespeare and whether or not he wrote all his plays. Some people say he did, some people say there was a collection of people that wrote them, some people say Christopher Marlowe wrote them and just used a different name. One theory that's never been put across that I think is accurate is that William Shakespeare was a time traveller. And I think someone spent about 50 years writing all these plays and then took them back to the 1500s and marketed them. That person could be you. This could be the very quill with which you write William Shakespeare's plays. You can set up this infinite time loop where you write them, you take them back, you pretend you've created them, people talk about who wrote them, you make a fortune. Oh, we're out of time already. So that quill's up for grabs as well. And the one other thing I want to get rid of, now we're out of time, is this. I have no idea what this is. That's a deer on the top, so you could use it like an arc reactor for Iron Man. You can be the Iron Stag. You can have it on the wall as a novelty coat hanger. But I think, if like me you like to act a bit and you're going to be in a Sherlock Holmes play, this could be your deer stalker hat. There you go. So bids are welcome. The email address will be on the screen in a matter of seconds. And have a great 7 days.